Hello everyone, so you basically pretty much saw me like this a couple of days ago. Okay, start over, scratch that. I'm hosting together with Jazz from Shiny Things Reviews. We're hosting a Pink readathon called Read Pink from the 25th to the 30th of December, so really soon. It's a pop-up sort of thing. We hope you can join in any way that you're capable of. And basically, usually I post a Pink book recommendation every day of the week on Instagram, but I don't think I'll have time to prepare that and do that properly this year. So instead, I'm just making one video where I'm going to recommend some books, and on Instagram I'll make maybe 1 or 2 posts about some Pink graphic novels that I've really been enjoying lately. So if you want more Pink graphic novel recommendations, I'll give you that during the week instead. So the first book that I want to recommend is This Is Not a Drill. This is Extinction Rebellion Handbook. It has many essays and discussions by different people, some indigenous people, people who work within the organization, activists, educators, academics, loads of people who talk about climate change, and also personal stories that revolve around it. It is so good. Even if you're not gonna join Extinction Rebellion, I highly recommend reading this. It's quite short and it gives you like stats, it gives you a perfect overview, it engages you emotionally, and it also tells you what you have to do to contribute to, I was going to say contribute to climate change, contribute to not stopping climate change, and just give you the information so you can make your own choices. Highly recommend this. Then we have a not fully pink book. This is My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Tessa Moshfegh. So I read this as an audiobook and I highly recommend the audiobook as well. You follow our main character, this person who lives in New York, and she basically decides that she's going to take 1 year off to rest and relax, but basically she gets prescribed all these drugs to induce sleep more than she should. It's just a crazy ride. I really enjoyed this. I gave it 5 stars. It's an easy read and it's a weird read. It's like problematic, but I also loved it. Then we have Queenie by Candice Carty-Williams. This is a adult contemporary book about this woman called Queenie who has just broken up with her boyfriend and is going through a lot of stuff. This book deals with different types of relationships and racism and a lot of trauma that Queenie has been going through, and I just highly recommend this book. I learned a lot, I felt a lot, I really felt for Queenie, and it just engages you. It's also funny but dark, so highly recommend this adult contemporary book. Then we have a book that I read such a long time ago. This is Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow. So this is super dark and huge trigger warning for self-harm and suicide and stuff. So you're following this girl who basically gets out of, I was gonna say rehab, but like a facility, a mental health facility, and she needs to start her life again, and it's quite dark. It's brutally written, like it's very raw, and the story isn't always pleasant to read. It hit like very true to home as someone who struggled with self-harm for many years. I really enjoyed this. I'll link the review up in the corner if you want to know more information about it, because you really do need to go into it when you're in a good state of mind. Then we have a translated fantasy book, young adult fantasy. This I would consider pink, like it's sort of pink and like, you know. This is The Beast Player by Nahoka Oeshi. So this is originally written in 4 volumes, but there's only 2 volumes released in English, so they were combined in 2. You follow this, it was such a long time ago since I read this. You're following Erin. It's in this world where there's basically serpents against birds, I think, or is it dragons? Oh my god, this was such a long time since I read it, but I'm going to be reading the 2nd volume soon, so like I better recap this. All I remember is that it's really fun, and it was a page turner, and you also learn a lot about mythology, and I really enjoyed it. It's definitely written in, I think is it Japanese translated? I feel like it is, but I just highly recommend this YA fantasy, and I don't hear a lot of people talk about it. Then we have a book that I got recommended by TBR.co. This is An Ocean of Minutes by Thea Lim. So originally I didn't enjoy this book, but like what happened was that it's not an enjoyable book, but it really affected me emotionally. I cried a lot at the end. It's just really depressing, and it talks about like capitalism. It's sort of a time travel book, but it's very technical in the way that like it doesn't talk so much about the time travel and like the technicalities and the sci-fi aspect of it, so I don't recommend this book for that. But it talks a lot about like how a society would take advantage of this sort of technology in a really just depressing way. So she gets like whatever. I'm not gonna talk more about it, but if you want something like that, I do recommend this book. Then we have a memoir. This is I Am Malala by Malala Yousafzai. So she won the Nobel Peace Prize, and if you don't know who she is, I recommend reading this book, even if you do know who she is. Like, her struggles are very real, and obviously real. Like, she talks about her life, and it's just hard to read, but also very. I think the lighting has changed because the sun is going down in literally exactly 30 minutes, and I need to change over my camera. I really want to get an extra battery, just really badly, and I don't know why I haven't yet. So what was I talking about? I was talking about I Am Malala. Just read it. It's about her growing up in Pakistan and fighting for her right to education. Whew. And then the last book I have to recommend is Hyperion by Dan Simmons. So this is an epic, super epic, advanced sci-fi. I read this in 2 weeks, so I think it's a quite slow read, and I would warn you for that. But if you've been looking for an excuse to pick this up, I recommend anything. This has to be a pink book. Like, I don't think it's a blue, but just listen. Okay, so for those of you who DNF'd this book before the 50% point, like, I feel you, I get you. Those were my feelings too. But if you made it past 50%, like, keep going. Just trust me, trust me, trust me. Continue. I know they're tough, but they're just also really good. So I highly recommend the series. I probably will not read anything more by Dan Simmons. I finished the fourth book of that one exactly a year ago. So those are all the books that I wanted to recommend for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know recommending by color is just like sort of pointless, except when it's in a readathon setting. But here we are. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and comment down below any pink books that I have to recommend to everyone else watching this video. I wish you all a great readathon time. I will link the readathon links down below as well, because it's all related. And I wish you all the best of days and holidays, and see you soon.